This will be a short video about how to install the keepers on valve springs. Here you can see a valve without a spring and a keeper, and here is a valve with one already installed. Okay, and here is a valve that is removed from the cylinder head, and the way it sits in the head, you see those little ridges there. The spring is installed like this. This little retainer sits around those ridges, and those little bits called keepers, you can see that these are angled a bit. The diameter is bigger at the top than at the bottom, which matches this. They go into this retainer like that, and when they are installed here, they grab the ridges and they keep the spring from flying away. So the traditional way to install these is to use a valve compressor, which will compress this spring by means of a screw. Then you can put the compressed spring in here and put this bit like this, as if there was no spring tension on top. Unfortunately, this 2-liter TDI VW engine has 16 valves, 16 very small valves, and there isn't enough space to fit a spring compressor in here. So there needs to be another method to compress this spring so it is possible to install the retainer and the keepers. There are multiple methods to do that. One of more interesting methods is to use a piece of tube like this, which you place on top of the spring and you press it, which compresses the spring, and the keepers are supposed to fall into place by themselves. Now I've noticed this almost never happens. There is also a version of the method with just pressing the tube into the spring, expecting the keepers to fall into place by themselves. That consists of placing a dowel in there, in the tube, so when the tube squeezes the spring, the dowel actually presses on top of the keepers, preventing them from falling to the sides. I've tried that method and I had no luck whatsoever with it. I don't know why. There's a video on YouTube showing someone that uses this method successfully. It may be because of I have small springs and valves. Maybe this is why this method is not working for me. So I came up with this method using the milling machine. So my method is to place the spring, place installed keepers in a retainer in there, put the whole thing on a milling machine's table. Now this is a big horizontal milling machine. If you don't have one, you can use a drill on a stand or a smaller milling machine like this one, for example, would do also. However, this is easier because there's more space. So the tube is placed like this and it is bucked against this. Or you could chuck the tube in your spindle if you have a pedestal, a drill, or a smaller milling machine. Then we raise the table, which you can see the keepers are falling out. And we use a small set of pliers or a tool like this to position them as they should be. This is one keeper installed. Both keepers are in place, and now we simply lower the table and we can do the next valve later. That's the simple and efficient method of installing keepers on valves.